Donald Trump, Walmart, empty shelves, China trade war.
Boy, it's not looking good at Walmart. Things are not going to be on the shelves.
To supposedly remove all the meat and dairy off the shelves, it really begs the question, why is that? Why would they be taking some items off of the shelves? That seems really odd to me. And then, of course, we're seeing the prices already starting to go up with the produce.
Attention, any Walmart shoppers still in the store. The store is now closed.
So, I can't believe a Walmart is closed.
But it's happening. Will permanently close next month.
269. Walmart stores are being shut down globally. 154 of those closures are happening right here in the United States. And if that sounds like something from the pandemic era, it's not. It's happening now, in 2025. But the real shock isn't just in store closures or numbers. It's what's happening inside the stores that are still open. Quietly, with no media coverage and no warning, Walmart employees across different states have been instructed to remove fresh food items from the shelves. No reasons were given, no signs were posted, and the public was left in the dark. A woman in Tennessee shared what her daughter experienced at a local Walmart. As she walked into the store, she saw employees pulling entire sections of meat off the shelves and loading them into shopping carts. She asked if she could buy a pack of ground beef. The worker responded flatly, "We're not allowed to sell this." When she asked why, the answer was simple and chilling, "I don't know." She walked over to the dairy section. No eggs, no milk, nothing. Everything had been cleared out. After asking to speak with a manager, she was told that they had received a memo earlier that morning instructing them to remove meat, eggs, and dairy products from sale, but no reason was provided. The same thing happened at a second Walmart she visited later that day. This isn't a one-off store glitch or a quirky regional supply delay. When multiple locations in the same region follow the same unusual protocol without explanation, it's not a glitch, it's policy. And the disruption isn't limited to perishables. Another customer visiting a Walmart in a different state had a bizarre experience trying to buy something as ordinary as shaving cream. Not a premium brand, just the store brand basic. What used to be openly displayed was now locked in a theft-proof box. The process, he had to flag down an employee to unlock the cabinet, who then put the shaving cream into a sealed container. At checkout, a different employee had to unlock the box before he could pay. "It feels like I'm in jail just trying to buy shaving cream," he said. When low-cost essentials like toiletries, batteries, and canned goods are being secured behind plastic shields, that's not just inventory control. It's a response to something bigger, an erosion of social trust, and a breakdown in consumer stability. Around the same time, Walmart quietly announced a global restructuring plan. It included the closure of 269 stores worldwide, 60 of them in Brazil, 115 in other Latin American countries, and the remaining in the US. This wasn't framed as an emergency move. No panic, no front-page headlines. But behind the scenes, office-based employees were asked to relocate to Walmart's new central headquarters. No specific number of impacted workers was disclosed. From a corporate strategy perspective, this move is revealing. Walmart is not just responding to falling foot traffic or online competition. They are consolidating, pulling back, centralizing operations, which usually happens when a company forecasts system-level instability. The reason Walmart's actions matter more than other retailers is simple. Walmart is the single largest grocery seller in the United States. It commands over 25% of the national grocery market. 1 in 4 Americans get their groceries there. And in rural areas, it may be the only full-service store within a 30-mile radius. Walmart isn't just a store, it's infrastructure. That makes Walmart a real-time indicator of the health of the U.S. consumer economy. It reflects not only what people are buying, but also how retailers are managing costs, risks, and supply logistics at scale. Think of it this way: when Target makes a move, it's worth paying attention. But when Walmart makes a move, it ripples across the entire retail and logistics ecosystem. So when Walmart begins pulling perishable food off shelves without explanation, across multiple locations on the same day, it's not just odd, it's systemic. And when the company locks basic items like soap razors and baby formula behind anti-theft boxes, that's more than policy. It's a symptom of deeper instability, social, economic, or both. We're not talking about 1 or 2 stores in isolated areas. These actions have been observed in different states across different demographics. That signals uniform policy, not a local decision. And if a centralized move like this is happening at Walmart, it means leadership sees either financial risk or social volatility, or both, on the near horizon. In other words, Walmart is quietly flashing a warning sign. Not in a press release, not in a press conference, but in the one language corporations speak most clearly: supply chain behavior. One of the most immediate and traceable pressures on Walmart and on the entire U.S. retail system is the ripple effect of escalating tariffs. In 2025 alone, the U.S. has introduced a new wave of aggressive trade enforcement policies, particularly targeting China, Mexico, and Canada, all major sources of agricultural and consumer imports. These tariffs aren't just raising prices for luxury electronics or industrial components. They're hitting food, especially fresh produce, dairy, and packaged staples, the very categories being pulled from Walmart shelves. With tariffs as high as 10 to 15% on basic agricultural goods and a broader 145% import duty on some Chinese categories, the cost structure for everything from apples to auto parts has been upended. And Walmart, as a volume-based retailer with razor-thin margins, is extremely sensitive to cost changes. They don't have the luxury of absorbing a 20% spike in cost, especially not across hundreds of SKUs. Their only options are to raise prices significantly, risking customer backlash. Pull the products until prices stabilize. Find cheaper alternatives, which may not exist in the short term. In this case, Walmart appears to be leaning toward the second option, quietly pulling high-cost inventory before it becomes a liability. Beyond that, the broader economic impact of tariffs includes currency volatility, uncertain lead times, and supplier instability. Suppliers are either delaying shipments, renegotiating contracts, or exiting deals entirely. That adds chaos not just to pricing, but to planning, making it almost impossible for retailers to guarantee availability or cost. In this landscape, pulling products isn't overreaction, it's damage control. At first glance, it seems excessive. Why would Walmart, a company known for selling budget household goods, start locking up $1 shaving cream and $3 deodorant sticks? Why put basic necessities, things people grab every day without thinking, behind anti-theft cases? The short answer: because they're being stolen, frequently and in bulk. Since 2020, retail theft has evolved from petty shoplifting to something more organized, persistent, and costly. National chains, including Target, Walgreens, CVS, and yes, Walmart, have reported hundreds of millions of dollars in losses each year due to theft. In many regions, losses have reached the point where companies are either locking down merchandise, reducing store hours, or shutting down locations entirely. And here's the reality: Walmart serves a vast socioeconomic range of shoppers, including many low-income households. That also makes it a target-rich environment for theft, not just out of desperation, but increasingly from organized groups who know what's vulnerable, what's high margin, and how to get out quickly. What makes this alarming is not that theft exists, it always has, but that Walmart is no longer treating it as an occasional inconvenience. They're treating it as a systemic threat. When a retailer starts locking up toothpaste, canned tuna, and baby formula, they're essentially declaring we no longer trust open access to our shelves. And that has major implications. First, it degrades the customer experience. Every locked item slows checkout, frustrates honest shoppers, and forces more staff time into unlocking instead of stocking or helping customers. Second, it signals a subtle shift in social fabric, a breakdown of basic mutual trust between business and community. Walmart isn't doing this lightly. It costs money to install lockboxes, train staff on access procedures, and monitor loss prevention footage, which means the theft problem isn't just concerning, it's now expensive enough to warrant action at scale. And that scale matters. When the largest retailer in the country begins shifting from accessibility to containment, it's no longer just about retail. It's about what kind of society we are becoming and what behaviors corporations are bracing for next. So here's the real question. Why isn't Walmart talking about this? Why no public statement about pulling food from shelves? Why no interviews with executives? No press releases? No national headlines? Because saying it out loud would do more harm than good. Imagine the panic if Walmart announced we're pulling food because we fear shortages are coming. That would trigger a public reaction they're trying to avoid, hoarding fights in aisles and a collapse of order. Instead, they're acting quietly, systematically, like any large system trying to preempt chaos without sounding the alarm. If you think this is just a Walmart problem, think again. Historically, what happens at Walmart is often a preview of what's coming across the rest of the retail landscape. First, it was Walmart securing baby formula. Then it was toothpaste and razors in anti-theft cases. Now it's entire sections of perishable food being pulled, not for restocking, but for reasons no one will confirm. Don't be surprised if similar trends begin appearing at Kroger, Target, and even warehouse clubs like Costco or Sam's Club. Let's be clear, this isn't a call to panic, it's a call to awareness. If prices are rising and availability is shrinking, the logical move is to act early. No, not hoarding, but stocking up on things you know you'll need anyway, non-perishable shelf-stable basics, water hygiene supplies, and yes, cash. Because in a world where digital payment systems are increasingly fragile, having a few days' worth of expenses in paper form might be more useful than you'd think. Since 2020, we've seen what happens when systems we take for granted falter. Supply chains break, store shelves empty, prices skyrocket. If Walmart, the most powerful consumer supply engine in the US, is showing signs of stress, we should pay attention. They're not just reacting to trends, they're anticipating them. And if you're watching closely, you'll see it too. What's happening now isn't just about one retailer. It's a preview of a world that's shifting from just-in-time convenience to scarcity-driven caution. Preparedness doesn't mean fear, it means foresight. Don't wait to react. Prepare to adapt.